Welcome to the webinar on making adjustments and correcting errors. When we get through this, you should understand how to correct mistakes, mistypes, and errors. You'll also know how to look into a job's history to pinpoint any errors in the past. So to begin, I'm going to show you how to adjust totals on a job. Let's say we receive some pipe. However, an extra joint we didn't estimate came in on the shipment. To make an adjustment for that, first let's find our jobs by going into search for pipe. From here, let's filter down by pipe size. The particular job was some 2 1/16, so let's change the pipe size filter to that size, and click search. And here's our 2 1/16 jobs. The job we need to adjust is this one, job 5268 with 20 joints. Again, we're adding an extra joint to the totals here. So to do that, we right-click on the job, and click adjust. And we want to adjust bulk here. And that brings up this screen. From here, we can add bulk, reduce it, or remove it. Keep in mind that this screen only adds or subtracts, it does not set the current total. So we're going to add 1 to the bulk count. And an extra joint means extra footage in this case, so we'll add 31 to the total, which is the joint average. And then we click next. And that brings up this screen, which lets us review our changes. As you can see, this transaction will increase bulk and total footage by 31. So that's what we wanted, so we click finish. And as you can see, our bulk totals have been adjusted to account for the extra joint. Alright, next up is correcting transactions. This is done using the reconcile command. In this situation, we shipped out 10 joints of 2 3/8, but one was sent back to us. We need to fix that transaction so that it shows we only shipped the 9 joints that were actually received. So to do this, first we need to find the completed job. To do this, we're going to search for status shipped, and the pipe size was 2 3/8. And lastly, we're going to check this box to search for completed items. If this box isn't checked, completed jobs won't appear. And we search. So here's that job we sent. Now to fix that shipping, we need to double click to open the job. And first of all, we need to reopen the tally. The system won't let you do any changes to closed tallies. So to do that, we're going to right click and click reopen this job. Next, we'll need to reopen its truck. This way, the truck is affected by the change we're about to make. To do this, we need to right click and click open truck. And now on the truck screen, right click again and click reopen. So now we go back to the job, and now we need to reconcile it to alter that transaction. To get to the reconcile screen, we need to right click and click reconcile. Reconciliation is different from adjustment. Adjusting a job is a new transaction, while reconciling alters transactions that already exist. So now what we want to do is correct the transaction above. So that's the default option, it's already selected. So let's set the new joint count to 9 and adjust the total feet to match. The average is 31, so subtracting that drops us to 189 feet. Now we make a comment, and then we click Finish Reconcile to finish the reconcile. Now as you can see, the job has 1 less joint on it. If we go to the truck and refresh, the truck now only shows 9 joints as well. That joint we removed from the transaction has also been automatically reassigned to its previous job. So now that we've made alterations, we can complete the truck again. And when it asks us When it asks us if we'd like to complete the jobs on the truck, we say complete them now. And lastly, we simply close out of the job screen since the truck completed this job for us. Alright, next up, we're going to go over undoing transfers. In this case, we performed an easy transfer to make a new job so we could ship it. Unfortunately, the split ended up unnecessary. So this job was 5 joints of 2 3/8. So let's search for that. First, we're going to clear our filters to ensure we're not getting the wrong results. Again, set the pipe size to 2 3/8 and hit search. So as you can see, we have one job awaiting shipment. This is the job that I split off, and it was originally from job 5259. Since we haven't done anything to this job awaiting shipment other than create it and change its status, it's safe to void the entire job. Voiding a job retroactively undoes any transfers or operations done on it. In this case, voiding job 5273 will add its 5 joints back into 5259, then strike 5273 from the record and put it into an archive. So let's open the job that we don't need, 5273. Now we're going to right-click and hit void. And it's going to ask us to confirm that, so we click yes. Now it may take a while to finish the void as the system goes back and undoes all the transactions on it. Alright, and once the void's complete, we just close out of this job screen. And that's also going to remove the job from any orders it was a part of, or trucks, provided that they were open. Now if we click refresh on the Pipe Explorer, you can see that that job awaiting shipment is gone, and job 5259, the original job, has 5 more joints on it, and the appropriate footage has been added too. Lastly, we're going to go over the logs that you can view for a job to see what's happened to them in the past. The first of these 2 logs is the transaction register. To get to the transaction register, right-click on a job and click Show Transaction Register. So this is the transaction register for job 5269. The transaction register is a comprehensive list of every transaction that has affected the amount of inventory tracked by this job. As you can see, on this job there have been 3 transfers and 2 adjustments. By scrolling to the right and looking at the running quantity and running total, you can see how many joints and footage that a particular job had at the time of this transaction. If you scroll further to the right, you can see which job the transfers were performed from or to. So these are all the columns that show you what jobs transfers were from, and these are all the columns showing you the jobs the transfers were to. And lastly, if you scroll all the way to the right, you can see the login that performed the transaction in the last updated by column. As you can see, all these transactions were done by webinar admin. Up on top, there's a check here to validate totals box. This will help you confirm with the help of the system that the values showing on your jobs are correct based on the transaction register. You can also save transaction registers as spreadsheets. To do this, click the arrow next to save, then click Save As. And that will show the transaction register as an Excel spreadsheet, so you can use this as a report. Just close out of Excel here. So that's it for the transaction register. So now let's look at the activity log, the second of the 2 logs that you can use. So I'm going to close the register here. And to get to the activity log, we're going to do the same thing, right-click and click View Activity Log. So this is the activity log. This is a more comprehensive list of events that happened to this job. It shows transactions, but in less detail than the transaction register. However, it also includes checkpoints and snapshots. And again, you can see which login performed these operations. Additionally, you can see if a job has, at any point in its history, changed part numbers. You can also view any sales or purchase orders the job has been a part of by looking at the PO for purchase orders and order for sales orders columns. And lastly, just like the transaction register, you can save activity logs as reports using Excel. To do this, simply click Save As. And you can use this as a report as well. So there you go. Hopefully now you can understand how to adjust, correct, and view previous transactions on jobs.